Friends, happy today. I am coming to you guys today. We're going to talk about immunity, but from a maybe different perspective than we've talked about before. So we talk about pretty regularly different oils that are specific to immune, support, our On Guards, our pink pepper, oregano, all of those kinds of things, DDR prime, things that we use when we aren't feeling our best and our immune system, is fighting something and compromise, and we want to support that. This is kind of more of an idea. I want to kind of talk about what are we doing ahead of time? Preventative medicine, you can talk about like outside of just the realm of essential oils, when we are in healthcare, like when I was in healthcare, I worked in 2 different hospital pharmacies for 12 years. And there was always a lot of talk of trying to do preventative medicine, preventative care, as opposed to having people who are coming back to the hospital on a regular basis for the same types of issues. We want to send them home with more information, more education, not just necessarily medications, but giving them tools so that we can be more preventative, so that they're visiting the hospital less often. And so that we want to do that in our lives just in general. We don't always exercise for the fun of it. We exercise because it helps us to stay healthy, right? Eating healthy, reducing, eating a cleaner, less toxic diet is going to reduce the inflammation that we have in our bodies. And we know that that's going to produce more energy and less inflammation, and inflammation causes pain, and just different things like that. So that's really where I want to talk about immune support today. So we have, a lot of products that are out there, but let me get some concepts down there. So sometimes we've got, let's say, a scratchy throat, right? And we can feel something's going on in here. So how do we know the difference between a scratchy throat because I have a postnasal drip because there's, it's allergy season outside, and that's what's causing the redness and the irritation? Sometimes I have reflux, and I can feel that right in the back of my throat here. And it feels like a bubble, or sometimes it doesn't have a traditional burning sensation. It took us years to figure out that it was reflux that I was having because I didn't have typical symptoms, but it feels like a scratchy throat and a bubbly throat to me. It's really weird. Or what if we have strep throat? What if we have tonsillitis? What if we have, some other kind of viral infection? So how do we tell the difference between all of those things? And one thing that is just experience. We're all different. I've had tonsillitis so many times in my life that I can tell that it's that kind of feeling that's coming on. I have postnasal drips often because I have allergies, seasonal allergies, and I can tell not only from the way that my throat feels, but the way that my sinuses are also feeling, obviously being in tune to the time of year and things like that. So you are going to be your best bet for figuring out what you have. Now, of course, none of us are physicians. We're not experts. And I'm not saying that you should ignore or not go to a physician, for any reason like that. But the sooner we can determine what's going on in our body, the sooner we can actually do something about it and start supporting the body immediately. And then preventatively, if I know that I have allergies, I'm going to start taking something to support my body, fighting off those allergies and getting rid of that histamine response before it actually happens, so that I'm inadvertently not having, as many bad reactions. And, again, we're talking about the preventative side of things too. So that is going to be, you are going to be your most help when we're talking about that. The other side of this is years ago, before I really started changing my diet and just kind of moving, I hate to say exercising every day because everyone thinks differently when we're talking about exercise, just moving our bodies on a daily basis, increasing my water, all of those things that really helps us to decrease the inflammation in our body. And when we are overinflamed, it's being less in tune to what's actually going on, because we're always in pain, because something's always swollen, because something always hurts. How are you supposed to know that? Well, it's when I eat tomatoes and lettuce that I get reflux unless the reflux actually goes away at some point and I can actually be more in tune to what my body's actually telling me. So that's really where we're trying to get, is reducing the inflammation in our body. And inflammation shows up in all sorts of ways. It's not just pain. We've got swelling, we've got circulation issues, like all sorts of things. Inflammation wreaks havoc all over the body. Migraines, headaches, tension, not being able to sleep, like restless leg syndrome, like all sorts of things, irritable bowel syndrome. It inflames your autoimmune diseases more than maybe you would, so inflammation. So when we reduce our inflammation, we actually can listen to our body going, oh, something is becoming inflamed because something just happened. I ate something and this, this trigger effect, so it's really helpful to think about how can we get that inflammation down the best that we can. And then the other side of, we can't talk about immune systems and supporting our bodies in that way without talking about the gut. It's every time you read the newest research, it went from like 50% in your gut to 60% to 80%. And some even say higher than that. Our immune systems actually are in our gut system, and that's like our stomach, mostly our intestines, our large intestines down there. We've got little microbes, little bugs in there, some really good bugs, some really not so good bugs. We've got yeast or candida in there, different pH levels and all sorts of really things that are going on in there. And it all can be really gross and nasty. But if those things aren't in check, your immune system is going to be compromised and you're going to be more susceptible to everything that's happening, as well as, other diseases and things like that just get really, really bad. So reducing our inflammation, is just a part. We've got so many videos on stuff like that. You could probably put immunity in the search there and probably put gut somewhere in there, and you'll find a bunch of information on that. And then, so I'm thinking about immune system this time of year because we're talking about back to school, right? And even though some people are virtual, I know a lot of people here on the East Coast were virtual, but a lot of people I have a lot of friends, hey Sean, who are in Louisiana. My sister's kids are going back to school, in-person school. There's some friends of ours that I have out west that are going back to school in person. So, but we're also still, I'm still going to the grocery store. We're still going to Costco. Sometimes I've got to run to Walmart, and I swear Walmart's one of the dirtiest places ever. And I hate having to go there, but it's life, right? So we are still being exposed to things, and flu season is upon us. We've got the coronavirus going on, just all sorts of things. And being proactive about our health is only going to set us up for more success and more support to our bodies. So, so here's just some things that we do to support the gut. We're taking probiotics every day. We're using the Terrazyme enzymes on a regular basis to help our body digest its food easier so that we can really absorb some good nutrients. Using our Lifelong Vitality, taking really good vitamin and mineral supplements, your omega supplements, those kinds of things. Using all of the essential oils that we've talked about. I mean, there's a whole list of them, but using On Guard every day to support your immune system. Using your pink pepper every day so it helps to support your body's natural cell cycle of killing off cells that it doesn't need around anymore, that are just trying to die off, and they should die off, so that your body can make new cells. So pink pepper is really helpful with that. And then just the list can go really on and on and on. We get regular chiropractor adjustments, so that when our spine is in correct alignment, our body talks to itself better, right? Our brain and all of the nerves go down our spine and then out through our body. Like if we've got kinks in our spine, not only are we're probably in pain and uncomfortable, but our body's not talking to itself as well. So chiropractor adjustments can be really helpful with that. Some things that maybe you haven't heard us talk about regularly is using tea tree oil in a gargle is really helpful and supportive to, what's this part right here? The throat. I'm like, what am I talking about, right? Just a little bit of warm salt water, and I'll add a drop of tea tree oil to that and gargle. Tastes awful, but I really like the effects that it helps. And then you've got the warm water and the salt that also help to soothe and things like that. Using Deep Blue and or Aroma Touch on your back. Sometimes I feel like one, just being hunched over all day long, can be really helpful. For that, it can be really fantastic to do before or after a chiropractor adjustment as well. Cypress on the back, actually, if you're having, you need to support your lungs just a little bit, putting some breathe and some frankincense on the front, but actually putting some cypress on the back can be really helpful as well. But when we're talking about maybe getting to the point where we know something's coming on, or we're feeling kind of under the weather or something like that, Aromatouch is such a really nice oil. It's the massage oil, so great if somebody can give you a massage, but I've even just had my kids like drop it on my back and just put it on my back and use some coconut oil on there. And it's so nice in helping to support the muscles and the tension and the fatigue that kind of can come along with those kind of symptoms. And that's really helpful as well. What else? I've got here some, a lot of different notes. Yeah. So what else are we doing? There's so many different ideas. Oh, you could do one of those steamy cups. I like this. So sometimes I'm really congested, right? And this happens all the time, all year long. Get a cup of water. You can, if you already have boiled water, like you put boiled steamy water in there. Some people do this over the stove, over a pot. I don't feel comfortable doing that. I like doing it just with like a coffee cup or a tea cup. I just fill mine up with water and stick it in the microwave and microwave it for like 1 to 2 minutes. Not boiling hot, but hot and steamy. That's what we're trying to get. You can also do this in the shower if you've got, kind of like an enclosed shower. But inside of a coffee cup, it really gets me really nice and concentrated with that steam. 1 drop of oregano, 1 drop of lemon, and 1 drop of tea tree. Keep your eyes closed because it's not that really great for your eyes. And sometimes I'll put a towel over to, again, just kind of keep that steam, but just kind of put my nose right there. And if my nose is completely stopped up, I open my mouth and breathe in and out of my mouth. And then sometimes, I can get a little bit in my nose, but I'll just have stuff just kind of drip out my nose, which is disgusting. I know. But when you just can't breathe, or you feel like all of your like all of our sinuses right here are just sitting with this mucus and we can't get out. We can't even do the nasal spray or anything like that. Like, this is a really great trick for just helping to get some of that stuff cleared out of there. Putting some lemon oil on the bridge. You can also put some digestin, which I know is for digestive health, but I swear it like eats mucus or something like that. But I'll put some digestin over my sinuses as well. Just be careful of your eyes. We don't want to stick oils in your eyes. Have your carrier oil handy. It's really helpful. So there's all sorts of tips and tricks once, so I'm getting kind of out of preventative care, huh? And this thing, like, I have so many ideas. So again, preventative care. One of the things, so Monday, we are starting the cleanse. I know several of you guys are joining us to do that. We're kind of behind, so we kind of should have done this maybe in July or maybe even in June, and we just got behind in that. So Nicola and I was like, we need to get our cleanse in. We can feel the backup, we can feel the sludge, we can feel all the stuff going on. So doing a gentle cleanse, we don't want to do any of those really big things that are like kind of emptying your system out. Like, we don't need to go for a colonoscopy, right? We don't need everything all emptied out. We don't want to do anything like that. Those things are a little bit too harsh and a little too severe, and just out of my comfort zone. So I like the way that doTERRA does it, where we're putting good things in while we are creating an environment in our gut that the little microbes we don't want in there don't want to hang around with, and they leave. And we're also using specific essential oils and products that are supporting our liver, our kidneys, and our lungs are also all toxin flushers, like they're our filters. So we want to support those to help to kind of just get all of this extra stuff out so that our gut can be really healthy. We're setting ourselves up for success. We're doing this preventative maintenance so that our bodies can just function really well. So our bodies are really fantastic, and they do really amazing things. And our immune systems are so great as long as we don't inhibit them. And I don't want to inhibit my immune system. I want my immune system working as good as I can get it to work, right? So that's really one of the reasons that we're doing the cleanse, and just, making it available for everybody to participate in, so that you've got some accountability, so that you're not forgetting to do that. If you have any questions, that kind of thing, that we're here and around. And even though it's 30 days, each 10-day cycle, it's its own little part. Each 10-day cycle is different from the other one before. There's some things that are similar and there's some things that we change. So again, having that, Nicole does these really great graphics and these really checkbox things so that it's all really clear. It's not confusing at all. And we're obviously here to help as well. So if you're interested in doing the cleanse and you've never done that before, you've got no idea what I'm talking about, you can search for the cleanse and I talk about it. There's several videos that we talk about it, but throw a comment below or send Nicole or I a private message and we'd be happy to chat with you. If you don't have your products yet, you should get on that like fast. And because we're starting on Monday the 31st, which is essentially September, right? So I hope this was really helpful for you guys, give you some general information about preventative, maintenance on our bodies and how we can support our immune systems ahead of time so that we can set our bodies up for success. We're always here to answer your questions. We love it when we chat with you guys. Oh, if you haven't seen the video, so Nicole got her swag box in for convention. Some of you might not even know what convention is. Convention is the big conference that doTERRA does every year. Usually it's live in Salt Lake City, Utah. It's not live this year. It's completely virtual, which means that you can participate for like this itty bitty little price. And I think through August, I think you can still add the swag box to your ticket if you want to. But it's just, first and foremost, we're going to have some new products and I like to know about those like as soon as possible. Super excited about that. You will get to shop, if you actually have a ticket, you will get to shop swag before anybody else does. You get to know about everything. I love the science part and it's not too sciencey. It's a little bit more than what I usually do. It's sciencey, that it just is, right? But I like that doTERRA is a science-based company so that we have research and hard evidence for effective use of the products in the essential oils. So super excited about that as well. And then there's also, all sorts of fun things in there. So convention is not for just those who are quote unquote doing the business. It's information. I had customers come last year. It's really fun and amazing. And it's just good information. It's just good. They can teach way better than the rest of us can teach. And they have really great graphics and all sorts they had like background stuff going on. So anyway, it's super fun. And you can, again, throw up in the search bar, you can put convention in there, put swag in there, and you'll find all sorts of things on that. But you should go check out all the stuff that came in the swag box. I love the book sack, and or some people call them backpacks, so I call them book sacks. And just a pill box, and then the special convention oil that you can't get any other time for any other way other than getting it in the swag. So you guys have a really great afternoon, and I will talk to you again soon.